everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we've got the sound system demo of the 2021 BMW X5 and its 16-speaker, 464-watt audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio inputs, controls, settings, speaker locations, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and then get out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling. I'll give you my thoughts at the end. If you don't care about any of that stuff at the beginning, you just want to get to the tunes, click ahead in the video. I've got chapters to get you right to the music. Before we get started, let's hop out, take a look at this thing. Now this is probably going to turn off on the inside, the music's going to stop, but this is actually the 45e plug-in hybrid version of the BMW X5. I really like the X5. I think it's a great package. I think it provides a lot of stuff really for most types of users, and it's enjoyable to drive. In this plug-in hybrid version, you can go about 32 to 33 miles of mixed driving, as we found, with the climate control running in the heat. All on electrics, got plenty of power. So if you do want to see more on the X5, check the links in the description for our highway fuel economy test, including a range electric test and our DM test drive. Now we always do this test with lossless, uncompressed WAV audio files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high quality Roland binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system demo on YouTube. We also do the test with the sound settings set to their factory defaults, so let's take a look at those now. I really like how on the BMW system you can either use this nice rotary knob. Listen, turn it down real quick. Listen to these clicks. Feels really nice. It's like metallic. And then you can also use the touchscreen if you'd rather. So if that works better for you, if you're stopped or something, you can just reach up, touch things. That's really nice. Let's go up here, starting at the top. You've got Logic 7 Surround, so you've got a surround sound mode on and off. You can also adjust the intensity. Below that, you've got treble and bass, front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. But what I really like about BMWs is down here you have an equalizer. So we've got 9 bands, and you can adjust your music however you'd like. So if you want to really screw it up, you can certainly do that. And then when you realize you've screwed up all your audio settings, you go back and hit reset, and that puts everything right back to their default values. And because of that, we are going to be testing with Logic 7 Surround on, because that's clearly how the audio engineers intended it to sound. For audio controls, oh, actually, let's go through and listen to treble up and bass up and down real quick. The song's just ending, but hopefully you got a little idea of the variance in there. And we'll play around with those a little more later. For audio controls, you've got this nice volume knob, easy to grab, nice to feel and turn. And you've got volume clickers on the right side of the steering wheel. For track selection, you've got physical buttons. Thank goodness. The last few cars we've tested have not had that. You can also use the touch screen. If you're on the media screen, you can kind of click around and use that. Or you've got back and forth buttons right here below the volume knobs. Or on top of that, you can scroll, and up on the head-up display, you probably can't see it, but I'm scrolling through my playlist, and I can click and select songs. So that's pretty neat. A lot of very different ways to control. You could even use the rotary knob, I suppose, to scroll around different music. And if that's not enough for you, you can also use BMW gesture controls. So for volume, you can go like this, and just use your finger to adjust the volume. Or for track selection, you can go like that with your thumb and switch around to different tracks. So that's pretty neat. For audio inputs in the X5, you have your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, like to see that, USB-A and USB-C, like to see both of those, Spotify streaming built in, and that is it. So what does that mean you're missing? Well, you don't have a disc player, at least in this one, and no 3.5mm auxiliary input jack, but other than that, lots of inputs, and I like to see that. Speaker locations, as I said, this is the 16-speaker Harman Kardon system. So, starting in the bottom left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a tweeter up there, 5, 6. These took a little while to identify. 7, 8, 9, 10. Popping open the trunk. 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 2 tweeters back there in the D-pillars, along with the bigger speakers. And then, under the driver and passenger seats, 15, 16 subwoofers. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Let's start off with, let's try CarPlay. CarPlay taking a few hoops to get going, but once it does come up, it looks really nice and full screen on the system. Got our kind of home screen there, your apps. Look how responsive that is. Settings, music, and of course you can do controls with the rotary knob as well. Okay, Android Auto. There we go, Android Auto coming up, and you do have the widescreen version of Android Auto, so that's nice to see. So you can see we got our Waze maps here. God, stupid gesture controls. Sometimes you're just going up to touch the screen and gesture controls thinks you're trying to change something. I really would turn that off if I owned this car. But you've got your music there, and go home. And if I were to bring up Google Podcasts, or let's say YouTube Music, then YouTube Music would come up here and you'd have a little display screen there for your time and date. Maybe weather could come up or something like that. And your home screen, let's go down to settings. A little bit laggier than CarPlay, but still works well. All right, let's get this thing out on the road. I like the variety of speakers and the placement in the car. Overall, the mixing is too middle-centered, middle-raised for my preference. I like to go into the EQ and drop down the mids and mid-highs, just one or two clicks, just a little bit. It's not as bad as the 3 and 4 Series BMWs, but just a little bit, and just bring the trebles up 1 or 2 clicks, probably just 1 for most songs. But overall, decent amount of power, and the balance of volume is pretty darn good. I do think vehicles with rear-mounted subwoofers are able to create more of an impressive bass sound when you really kick up the volume. But for easier listening and medium-type listening, medium bass, these under-seat speakers do provide a satisfying experience. We'll test out that bass some more in this next song. Turn the bass all the way up about halfway through. Good bass. I'm getting some mirror shakage. I feel it in my seat because it's right under there, and it does provide a satisfying upper range bass. But if we were to try to listen to some really rumbly low bass, you're not going to get too much of that. My thoughts on the 2021 BMW X5 16-speaker Harman Kardon audio system. I like it. At the end of the day, I like it. And I'll tell you a few reasons why. Easy to use. You've got the rotary knob. You've got a good volume knob. You've got a nice touchscreen. You've got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless device charging, USB-A, USB-C, all sorts of inputs. You got the 9-band equalizer. I love having that. You have so many sorts of adjustments. The sound, it's not my favorite. It's not the most impressive. I'm sure the Bowers and Wilkins in this car would be definitely a big step up. But for 99% of people, it's going to sound really good, and I'd still be giving this system an A rating. Very, very good here from BMW. Would I change anything? Like I said, I'd make a few EQ adjustments for my own personal listening, but who wouldn't? And the gesture controls I'd probably turn off, only because they get enabled accidentally a lot of times when you're reaching up and touching the screen. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the X5, check the links in the description. And if you want to hear customized songs for this system and many others, or if you want to request custom songs, sign up to become a Daily Motor member. I'm going to record a little video right after this with some copyrighted music, some user-requested music for the members. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.